Hey guys, what's going on? There's leaves, there's dirt, I think there's sand in this. What's going on? Well, I will tell you because this is the third time I've tried to take this due to iPhone, Apple, technical difficulties, and I'm not having it anymore. Okay, kitties? Alright, you ready for this? What? You want me to get...
Do you need some water?
Yes. I need some more water. No, don't dump it, actually. Add the lid to it. Add the top to it.
Oh, got it. Right.
Alright, guys. So, here's what is happening right now. There is 2 bags of sand, namely excavator sand and reptisand here to allow for burrow creation. We got an entire bag of Nature's Care in here for plant nutrients and whatnot. We've got Eco Earth because what substrate, Bavarian substrate, does not require Eco Earth? You tell me and I'll wait. Ones who use paper towel or carpet. Shut the fuck up. So anyway, it's supposed to be 50 to 60% of sand, which 2 bags, pretty sure that it's that ratio. I wanted to make sure it was a little bit taller, so I added more Nature's Care than I should have. It's supposed to be about 20%, 20 to 30% top or potting soil that doesn't have manure as a fertilizer, or vermiculite, or perlite, because those are little rocks you don't want your pets eating. And then we got Eco Earth. The reason for Eco Earth is to retain moisture and whatnot, and it has little wood chips that your cleaner crew will inevitably eat up. I am currently culturing springtails that I caught at a sow's cage in here in a little container with some dried up kale and some leaves. And here I got wormies. Went to like 3 different places to find one place that had live worms, because the other ones looked like paste. Walmart and Petco, theirs looked like paste. Not trying to bash either of them, it's just they probably got terrible shipments. These guys actually have real good red worms. These guys can be eaten by bearded dragons because they're a good source of calcium, and moisture probably. And the reason for all of this is for a bioactive setup, but this is my own recipe. Got most of my finger there, bloody pale. Is for a bioactive setup, and I'm not buying the Bio Dudes like $70 40-gallon tank bag when I'm gonna make my own for like less than that. Oh, I did drop $40 on a bunch of different substrates, and the worms were like 4 or 5. The excavator sand was 15 in of itself, so around like 60 or so. But it was also shipping and whatnot, and realized it would be this much. Plus, I guess I like the fun little project, making my own mixture of substrate and whatnot. I like my own mixture. But so yeah, now it's going to be in this tub because I'm going to get plants. I'm going to add the worms. I'm going to make sure things are composting and growing before I buy screening, hydro balls, and make a drainage layer for her tank before I measure out everything. And then what I'm going to do after that is then I'll take her out, put her in a bathtub, and dump all this into her cage after I like heavily clean it though. Like I want to scrape all that gunk off the front of it. But so yeah, she's going to get all this lovely dirt. And it's like humidity is not actually an issue for bearded dragons in the sense of like if you in the wild they can deal with spikes of humidity upwards to like 65%. Because they don't live on just sand, they live on actual dirt. What people don't realize is they live on dirt and sand, like probably at the same time or at different times as well. So it's really not a big deal if they live on dirt. And I know what few of you may or may not be, like the 1 or 2 of you that's going to watch this, not including the guy that's videotaping it for me, is going to inquire about, what about impaction? Well, your adult bearded dragon should not be getting impacted. If it is, take it to a vet, because it's not doing great. Baby bearded dragons have a kink in their intestines that allow for easy blockage of just processing. So you don't want to put a baby bearded dragon on this, because it's just... But a juvenile about Drogon size should do okay, because it's starting to elongate. Earl will be perfectly fine. She could eat the dirt. She could eat the worms out of the dirt, which is something I plan to have happen. She could eat the worms out of the dirt, and guess what? She just gets food. She'll process the poop out, and there you go. She got calcium and stuff from the worms. She hunted her own food, which is psychologically stimulating to her. Quite frankly, it just seems like a really good win-win situation, because for an adult, this has like no downsides whatsoever. And self-maintaining, so if she poops, things are going to eat it. So yeah, can we get a heavy spray across all of it? So I want to make sure the leaves get nice and wet over here. And the leaves are to provide extra composting for the worms and for a surface for the springtails when I eventually introduce them to this, for them to start establishing on as well. Plus, it provides aeration because it provides surfaces for air to get into the dirt and such. Provides regions. I added a few leaves into Sal's cage, and I added like 2 worms. I might add more before I dump them all in there. That's my battery charger. I love the noise it's making in the air. But yeah, so I'm going to dump the worms in here. I'll get the heat lamp set up on one side of it after the video's over, because that's just something I'm going to fiddle with, because I want to find the perfect balance for it. So I don't want to, you know, waste time with that. And yeah, that'll be it. On the tree frog thing, so I want to set up for poison dart frogs, dendrobates or tinctorius. If you want to look them up, they're really pretty. They're blue species, and I'm afraid my grandmother, who should not be keeping White's tree frogs, is going to be sending me the ones that she had, because she had them with the nulls, which is a big no-no, mind you, cohabitating things with lack of information. And reptile keepers, you have hides for your lizards for a reason, right? So they can sleep. She taped up the hide for her frogs so she could see them all the time. What's the point of having them if I'm not going to see them? I'm like, what? That's not how this goes. What? It's not okay. It's not okay to do that. So yeah. If I do get the frogs, I'm going to put them in this until I can find a better home for them. I have a coworker who has 1 White's tree frog. He had 2, but it got bitten up by crickets in the pet store, so he couldn't do anything about that. He tried using like Neosporin and whatnot, but it didn't go too well. Did not survive. So yeah, I'm gonna add the worms. Red wigglers by Timberline. Protein, fat, ash, and moisture. So I guess no calcium, but you know what? That's fine though. Ooh, there's a lot of them in there. Oh, yeah. I'll grab like 2 more. Awesome in here. Or, yeah, that's 2 in here. If you don't notice, I'm trying to make sure they burrow in there properly so they're not just sitting all up at the top doing whatever. That'd just be kind of weird. And their soil was mixed in as well. You know, I'm kind of tempted to add because like I said, I'm going to keep this set up for a while. So I could probably have the springtails now, actually. As long as they're in there in general, just let them do their thing.
Maybe not all of them, so you still have some.
Huh?
Maybe not all of them, so you still have some.
Oh no, see, here's the thing. If they breed in here, I could just literally dig out like a small handful of soil, and then I'll be able to make entirely new culture from that alone. Because of how little these guys are. Hang on, let me see if I can... Smells like rotting food in here. I wonder why. I don't know if there's rotting kale in here or anything. Actually, spray in here heavily. Because they sit on the surface of water. So if I can get it moist enough to cause water to build up, maybe we can get them to like float around. You know, I know they're in here. I added them like yesterday. Okay, so springtails don't want to come out to play. All I know is that I know they're in here. Yeah, these motherfuckers yesterday.
How small are they?
Oh, very tiny. They're seen by the human eye. They're just super fucking small. Every time I try to put them on camera, they never show up. It's one of those situations you see in cartoons. I swear it's real. It was there. I saw it. I'm just going to shake it out into there at this point because I know they're in there. Hunted them specifically yesterday.
There's one.
Where?
Wriggling around.
Oh yeah, there's a springtail.
Oh. So yeah, there's a couple there. Just not moving.
Plus you know how tiny they are.
Oh yeah.
They burrow too, so they're probably just burrowing as I'm sifting things around. I need the water bottle. Actually, wait. I need you to spray it to the point where everything in here is kind of liquidy. I'm asking you to clean it all off. So I'm going to dump it in there. The corners. Just going to dump it? Gotcha. If there's any more in there, I'll just rinse them off in the sink. Because they're super tiny. Easy to replace, I suppose. I know it sounds bad, but come on. They're bugs. They eat poop. Yeah, that's the wreck that eats his own shit, right? But yeah, I think we've got all right. Yeah, looking pretty good. Now it's a waiting game. Waiting for me to get plants in here and waiting for everything to start like breaking down to make sure the worms aren't dying off and they're actually doing their job. The extra moisture will definitely cause the leaves to break down quicker. One issue that people have like read up on with these, or it's not actually an issue, but it's something that frightens them, is like, what about things like fungus? Well, guess what happens in the wild? You get fungus and white mold, and guess what? The point of the worms and the isopod and the springtails, and I'm gonna get isopods too. It's to eat that stuff, so it's gonna grow up, but it's also gonna get eaten. You know, it's nothing to be afraid of. But yeah, I think that's the end of that. It kind of sucks I couldn't get the footage of putting it all together, but at least you got the general gist of what happened. So if I ever do this again, I'll try to have a more professional setup for it. But until then, I guess it's just peace out to YouTube. See you later.